Hey everyone, this is Ryan B with Practical Forex Trading, and this is your weekly analysis for Bitcoin versus US dollar. So BTC USD. The date is April 5th, 2020. It is 11:04 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The reason it's important to call that out is because crypto charts never stop. There is no close day. They don't take Saturdays and Sundays off. They just keep going. So that's what we are right now this morning. Now we're looking at the weekly chart. This weekly candle is about to close today at around, I think it's 4 or 6 p.m. Eastern. And last week in my last week's video, the condition was I'd be bullish as long as price closed above 6,200, and indeed it did. So I am still sentiment mixed long term, but short term, short term I'm bullish. Okay, short term bullish. I think we're going to see price limit or cap out around this 9,000 mark. And the reason why is because this has been this price wedge. The reason I'm mixed is because we have an overall price wedge where our multi-year uptrend, which was just recently tested, 1, 2, 3, 4, was tested, but we still have this descending bearish triangle for the year. So as long as price stays in there, we can expect range trading between 6,000 and 9,000. Currently, we have some, 3 weeks of bullish candles. We still are moving below this average, so the next test will be when price collides with this fast-moving average. And that could be our short-term resistance this week, meaning it won't go too far beyond that, or it'll go through it and then close below that. And stay in this kind of median range. So right now, this range trade, right here, we do have some significant support now at 5,000. So we had that big sell-off. We had the bullish. I wasn't convinced because the buy didn't close above that line. Next one, I wasn't convinced either. However, this week's candle, presuming the next 5 hours doesn't fall off and close below 6,000, should be a bull. Then we'll see price travel up to 9,000. The ceiling of this zone, and then I anticipate our next big sell-off. And I kind of thinking, Bitcoin's just going to go into a dead grinding like median for a second, and then we'll see our next big breakout. So breakout's coming, but I don't think breakout's going to come for possibly another year out of this triangle. So let's look what's happening this week. Okay, so we have price moving above the fast-moving daily average. That's great. And we're sitting above this ascending trend channel I mapped out from the overall low trend. So now here's our range. It might be a great time to range trade up to this 9,000 mark. That would be about a 40% increase in price. That's pretty good. Let's go ahead and look at this trend at the 4-hour. Perfect. So if I'm thinking about trading this, I'm really thinking about my trend line being that. Now we've got a nice bullish ascending wedge here. Oh yeah, okay. So it's looking more and more bullish by the minute in the short term. So we see price really sitting on top of this support and resistance zone, right? Boom, bangarang. That's a good buy. Now we might see a little, as long as price hangs out here, next few 4 hours, 4-hour candles, that'll be our buy. And then we'll see how price reacts when we hit the middle of this range. So I'm going to draw an equidistant resistance point around 7,800, 8,000. And so now in the long, right, we think about buys as being a long, is that we could see price hang out here for a few days and then push up here. So if we look at our timeline, the bottom, maps out the future dates, and if we say, okay, I don't expect price to do anything beyond follow this channel, it looks like we could have a breakout of the $8,000 range, so between 6,700 and 8,000, we break out by the end of the month. So that's not a bad return for less than the 30-day hold. So if price were to close below 6,000, that'd be my bearish scenario. But for now, looking pretty solid. We will see, though, because U.S. dollar has been on a tear, and we will, if U.S. dollar, is strong again this week. So here's the other way. We think about this. That's our short-term bullish. Now let's bring our long-term bearish. You want to entertain both scenarios. You don't want to be just blind to your one opinion, right? Opinion blind. There's the other scenario that 7,200 was resistance, and price isn't going below there, and that's also a great time to sell, right? So it depends on which way your bias is, essentially, is how you see these trend lines and what they mean. So, right, I can kind of see both of these scenarios, which puts me at mixed. All right, this week, everyone have a great time this week. I hope you make lots of profits. Talk soon. Bye.